No crown. This is a little impromptu and off the cuff. As you know, Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Points USA, right wing provocateur, racist, homophobe, terrible person, is dead. He was assassinated during a speaking tour where he was, saying racist things and promoting gun rights and so on and so forth. Equating gun violence with, as he called it, gang violence, fear mongering about trans people as people in his sphere do. I've encountered some people who are bending over backwards to virtue signal about how sad they are that this individual is dead. While the loss of human life is unfortunate, I suppose, and political violence is a bad tactic politically, right? Let me tell you something. You know, I'm not crying over Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is a guy who pushes very hard for, pushed very hard for an abolishment of the separation of church and state. He's advocated for gay people to be put to death. He's pushed for the parents of trans kids to have their kids taken away. In America, being queer, as many of my co-hosts and writers are, is inherently a political action just because people have a problem with you. Being Jewish, as I am, is an inherently political act. I don't get to disagree with the genocide in Gaza without people going, but you're Jewish. Just like I don't get to hold my boyfriend's hands in public without it being an issue. So, forgive me if I'm not sobbing over the death of Charlie Kirk. That said, I'm also not celebrating. It's more, look, he got the culture he wanted. This is a guy who went out of his way to say, there are a lot of gun deaths in America, but that's a price that we have to pay so that we can keep our guns. Well, you got it, Charlie. You're a victim of the very crime you didn't care about. People like Charlie Kirk, if they have their way, publications like Death Wish Poetry Magazine, which platforms queer writers, which is run and edited by a queer writer, which platforms, publishes, and promotes, occult, satanic, dark, sexual content, that's not gonna live. Things like that won't thrive. They won't be able to exist in that America. The weird, Christo-fascist fantasy that the MAGA movement wants so badly. So I hate to be political, but, this is where we are. I think that people are afraid. I think that people see an alt-right ideologue die in a very public and loud and ostentatious way, yes? And they say, oh no, things are going to get so much worse. We'd better lower the temperature. I'm sorry, guys, but the temperature is up here already. And, people saying, oh, wow, what a shame, fuck around and find out, that's not going to really make much of a difference. This started in 2008, and probably before that. This started when Obama was elected president. The first Trump administration, if you even remember it, was a disaster. And, Roe v. Wade dying, that was just a milestone. That was just another fucking marker on the road. We're headed towards something. It's not great. I wish we weren't living in, historic times, but here we are. And all I want to say is that if you're feeling a certain way, so am I. Know who your friends are. Have a plan. And be true. That's all. I don't know what else to tell you. Because, what's going on is kind of crazy, and people are panicking. And there's probably no better time to make art and write poetry, as I always say. Because as artists, we don't create the world, we reflect upon it. And, well, we're living at an inflection point, you know? So, that's about it. That's all I've got. As always, make art, write poetry, and love your demons because they're yours. Submissions are open for another 4 days. We close on the 15th, so figure I might as well say that. Feel free to comment. Feel free to tell me I'm a fuckhead. That's okay. I'm not going to block you or anything. I don't really roll like that. But this felt momentous enough for me to say something. So here we are. Thank you. This is not my address for the week, by the way. This is just Charlie Kirk died. It feels like the world might end next week, so I thought I would say something. Thank you.